Very good point that you mentioned in between foreign trading. So, what's the foreign or international exposure like for legal officers, according to you?
But when it's a very formal legal thing, then obviously it has to be put down black and white, signed duly. So the legal department does help there, and drafting skills are very important.
What do you think, sir, the career looks like vis-a-vis maybe an advocate? Here, they're asking for 2 years of experience. In fact, how is the work culture like, sir, for RBI in general and for legal in particular? Hello, everyone. Welcome to ixamBee. Today, we are having a very interesting session with me, and my guest is Dr. Sanjeev Sharma. Thank you, sir, for taking out time and being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always nice to be here.
Thank you, sir, and welcome to ixamBee platform, LegalBee. Let me give a brief profile about sir. Dr. Sanjeev Sharma has worked as a former Chief General Manager at RBI. He's also served as the Regional Director at RBI and been the Executive Director for NHB, National Housing Bank. There's so much more to his profile. He is a visiting faculty at IIMs like Ahmedabad, Lucknow, ISB, and he's also a mentor and guide at ixamBee. So, a lot of experience Sir carries, and today we are trying to delve into his understanding, his life at RBI, and how it can be for legal officers. So, once again, welcome to the platform, sir.
Thank you. Let's begin then.
Yes, sir. So my first question to you is, RBI being the central bank of India, has so many functions and departments. So where does the legal department fit in?
Yeah, that's a good question to begin with. RBI has various departments, as you know. We have the financial inclusion, we have the FED, the currency management, and DOS, Department of Supervision, Department of Regulation, etc. Like any other commercial bank, we would be having different departments. However, as a central bank, we are working within the framework of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. So it is very essential to have a legal department within the Reserve Bank to guide and to ensure that there's an overall compliance to these acts, various acts that come into play. Mm-hmm. There could be FEMA, there could be the DICGC Act, there could be the BR Act, RBI Act, Payments and Settlements, various acts. So it is very important, and each department is dependent on the legal department. I think, for example, if you take as a contrast with the commercial banks, they also may be having legal departments, but essentially they are meant for litigation purposes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Whereas here, this is not the case. Yeah, litigation is there, mm-hmm. but interpretation of the RBI Act. When Department of Regulation, for example, frames a directive, there's a policy change, they're coming up with a new policy, it is always vetted by the legal department so that it ensures that there is no conflict with what is being proposed and the act or any other act that may be. They are vetted. Same situation happens with the departments like the currency management or the financial inclusion department, payments and settlement actors there for the payment and settlement department. So these things, these departments get a lot of support from legal department.
Right. So it's quite a important department, and almost helping every department, as I understand.
Helping them also in compliance functions, that they don't step the boundary.
Right. You had mentioned like the commercial banks may have litigation. In RBI, would there be litigation work also?
It does happen. There are various parties who are willing to take. You have banks which have taken RBI to court. Mm-hmm. We can expect it because obviously when we frame a policy, it may not be conducive to the other bank, and they think that we are violating. So they have a right. And there's a very famous case of SBI and Sanjay Agarwal. It was to do with frauds. I can recall this case. I'm not very sure what exactly it was about, but yeah, it's one of the famous cases where RBI was forced to take a certain action based on the Supreme Court judgment. So yeah, we have cases.
But do the legal officers represent in courts in that case?
No, our legal officers essentially help in, at the lower level, say as a grade B, grade C, AGM level, DGM level, they basically help in drafting in the research. And we have the senior officers also who would then counsel the attorney that we hire, and they represent the RBI in the court. They may take assistance from the legal officers also, but basic arguing is done by them.
Okay, great. So you mentioned about drafting, although in reference to the litigation here, help here. But drafting overall is a very important part when it comes to the RBI officers exam also they mentioned. So I understand when you're saying this, like you mentioned, they provide a lot of effort and work is done with respect to the different acts that RBI works under, and so many policies and regulations that come into place. Is that the reason why drafting is such an important aspect that RBI is looking for in these legal officers?
Absolutely. And it's not just legal all over the Reserve Bank when we take the Grade B exam. Legal more so, because their basic job is to draft, interpret and draft, research. So if you want to join the Reserve Bank as a legal officer, your ability to should be good in drafting. That is, your drafting skills should be good, A, and B, your ability to perform research functions where you could cross-reference, find out, and put up to your seniors the way we do. Because in RBI, everything is based on note. Everything has been formalized. So it's not verbal. Everything, yes, these days we have emails, for example. We do work through them also, because of urgency sometimes. You can get an email from the top management, or you can reply through email. We reply to the customers also. But when it's a very formal legal thing, then obviously it has to be put down black and white, signed duly. So the legal department does help there, and drafting skills are very important.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, sir.
And essay writing, for example, when we have essay writing, that takes care of your ability to write. Your précis is your ability to write succinctly to the point and removing all riffraff from the whatever letter you may be having. People tend to write long letters to the bank sometimes. You got to come to the core, and because senior officers will not have time to go to the entire letters, they will depend on your noting.
No wonder there is an English paper also in the RBI officers recruitment process.
Including reading comprehension, because unless you're not able to comprehend the central idea and the theme of what the person is saying, or you are not able to read between the lines sometimes, yes. You would make a poor drafter. So English is an important part of the exam, no doubt.
Sure. Sir, I was going through the website of RBI trying to read about the legal department, and it also mentioned that the legal department extends its legal support to two entities they have named: Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation and the Center for Advanced Financial Research and Learning. In your opinion, why these two entities have been particularly named, and what kind of legal support would they be?
Yeah, that's an intriguing question that you've asked. It does look odd that they have singled out DICGC and CAFRIL, for example, for the purpose of getting legal support from the Reserve Bank. Now, DICGC is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Reserve Bank. Though it functions like a department within the bank, but it has its own setup, and there's a separate executive director for DICGC, and anybody who's transferred to DICGC is more like a deputation within courts. But you are in this, it's the same. However, because the DICGC Act of 1961 is mandated there, whenever the depositors' interests come into play, when RBI has to step in and take care of it, the banks where they have to make payment in the case of a problem, their legal department would certainly like to support. The ICGC rather would like to take legal help to see that they are not breaching the ICGC Act or within the framework of the RBI Act it's been done. Now, that is for the ICGC. It does require. CAFRIL is not a subsidiary of the Reserve Bank, but it is under the Companies Act.
Okay.
And 2013 Companies Act.
Yes.
So CAFRIL is an institution which is research-centric and, of course, training interventions. Now, it has a vision where it goes global and it gets a lot of support. It enters into contracts and MOUs with IMF, the World Bank.
Okay.
So that is why it requires, and in the fiduciary capacity of Reserve Bank, it's not a subsidiary, but a promoter, RBI being a promoter. It does, legal department's help is given to them so that the MOUs that are signed, they are legally sound.
Right.
That is the reason.
Okay. And one more interesting point I noticed, sir, for the legal department especially, the website stated that the department also functions as a secretariat to the appellate authority under the RTI Act. What exactly, in your opinion, that means for the department?
See, whenever we get an RTI application in the bank, essentially it is, if it's a simple application, the question is not very complicated and factual, the department itself is able to provide the answer. Sometimes they will ask questions which we are not too sure. So initially when the RTI started, at that point in time, we were saying no to so many things. People were possessive of the
confidential,
under the confidential. But then it was decided that no, we would be displaying our list in the public domain on the RBI website. That these are the confidential matters which we will not be able to disclose. The rest we can. Now, that kind of a decision, what is confidential and secret and what is not, what can be told to the public and what can be withheld, that is where legal department helps us a lot. That's one thing. Secondly, when somebody is asking a sensitive question, we are not too sure whether we can answer. It could be in the public domain, bordering that. The department always refer the reply to legal department, saying that this is what we have received, this is our response, please vet it for us.
Right.
So then they will go through and say that, okay, this is right, you can say this, or they can give you another draft and say, you can answer on these lines. So it gives us a good support. So it is RTI functioning is dependent largely on the legal support.
Yeah. Sounds very, very interesting and quite a dynamic role to me. But let's bell the cat and come to some questions which may interest the students a little more. What do you think, sir, the career looks like vis-a-vis maybe an advocate if they want to become an advocate? Because here they're asking for 2 years of experience. So the students who are going for RBI legal officers may have experience as advocates or as law officers in other banking or financial institutions, or they may even be teachers. So for them, having to continue a career what they've already done or pursuing an RBI legal officer career, what according to you makes RBI attractive to them?
Well, if you want to be a traditional advocate and you want to file cases and have your own kiosk and then, or be an assist to somebody as you begin law practice, civil or criminal cases, then you can pursue the course of the traditional lawyer. Now, why RBI is asking for 2 years experience? If you want to come to us, then we would like you to have some experience in law, in matters of court, in the formalities that are required. And of course, you would not feel nervous if you were sent to the court, for example. You would know what the court is all about. You're not a lay person. So a person who comes from the law college directly may not have that exposure. So 2 years experience, then you would have honed your drafting skills. You would have learned a couple of things which would be useful in referencing, certain important cases you would be able to make a reference to if required. So a little knowledge, a little functioning of the being an advocate is essential therefore. Now, officers who do join us, they begin in the usual way, grade B, grade C, D, E, F. So the grade B is the base level, and the principal advisor, the principal chief advisor is the grade F. That's where you rise to. Now, remember, this is a specialized department. Now, you have the general side, RBI general side, where you can function in any department of the Reserve Bank. Today you are in currency, tomorrow you could be in foreign exchange or in the Department of Regulation thereafter. Once you join legal department, you will continue to be in the legal department. It is like DEPER and they are specialized departments. So their seniority is also different. Legal department seniority is different. You have to compete within your department's seniority. Of course, it is the pyramid is always narrow at the top. So you have to be very good, to rise to the top. And most people do pretty well. If you are sincere about your work, you get good promotions, B, C, D, E, F.
So the benefits and the perks, do they remain same as any other?
Yeah, absolutely the same. The only difference could be perhaps postings, Legal department is not in every center.
Right.
Broadly, the other departments are in all the regional offices. Some departments are not present in smaller centers. Legal department would be present only in the major centers, Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Chennai, Bangalore, Ahmedabad.
That could be a good point also. Not too many transfers, that could mean?
You may get exposure to a regional office. It's always good to get exposure in the regional office. And then, you come to the central office. So, you are the extended arm of the regional office. So the legal officer sitting in the legal department in, say, New Delhi would always coordinate with the central office for guidance and for sometimes vetting.
Right. So
and they get all the facilities, the LTC, the foreign training, and all the other perks that other RBI officers get. Good accommodation, car allowance.
A very good point that you mentioned in between foreign training. So what's the foreign or international exposure like for legal officers according to you?
Well, honestly, I really wouldn't know. I haven't come across any of my friends from the legal department who told me, but they do go for exposure. So if there is an international conference where they could be presenting a paper, or basically, why do we go abroad? Foreign training is to upskill.
Right.
So like any other department, their officers would also like, and they are sent.
Sounds like
it would not be fair to them if we don't send them.
Yes. Sounds like overall good in terms of varied profile, work culture. In fact, how is the work culture like, sir, for RBI in general and for legal in particular?
Yes, work culture is good. I think most people talk in terms of, these youngsters who want to join the bank and they feel the work-life balance, this HR concept of work-life balance has somehow crept in. But honestly, we have to work hard. And when you work hard, you will have to compromise on the work-life balance. So there are days when you are very busy, you're on your toes, especially central office departments. I would say the regional offices are still less stressed. The stress comes from when central office breathes down your neck, saying, I want this tomorrow. Then the regional offices are on their toes, no doubt. But because the entire top management is sitting in Mumbai, therefore, and everybody sits, there's so much of work pressure, so much of work to do, that the senior management, including the senior management, top management, nobody leaves at 5:45, 6 o'clock. So, like any other department, legal department also has its own share of work they have to do. They have to do a little bit of running around, lives and work. Yes.
That's a nice way of putting at it, because work-life balance sometimes is misinterpreted.
Yes.
Right interpretation is very important. And I'm leaving that to the legal experts. I hope they interpret it right. But yes, working hard doesn't go away in any kind of format. So,
and work-life balance, when we say Saturdays, and we have a 5-day week reserve bank, that takes care of your work life. You work for 5 days, maybe till 9 o'clock in the night, 8:30, or you spend a lot of time commuting. But then you have a long weekend. So that takes care of your work life. You spend your time with your family, take them out.
Okay, great.
But people think work-life balance means I go to the office in the morning at 9:45 and sharp 5:45 and out of the office. That doesn't work.
So yes, that's where I meant it's misinterpreted a lot.
Yes, you're right.
But yes, one can definitely achieve it with good planning, good work culture, and if the company is supportive, institute is supportive, which RBI is in my understanding.
Yes.
Great, sir. So, last question maybe. A very interesting point again I noticed in RBI's annual report about the future for the legal department. And to quote them, they have mentioned to do a research paper on leveraging of AI for enhancing the legal function in the financial sector. So your thoughts on what this means and what technology and AI can actually do for legal function?
Well, modern banking is all about technology. It's based on technology. The platforms are technology-based. Fintechs, for example. So every time there's a new animal in the market, so the legal implications have to be seen. Now, AI is something which we cannot ignore. Blockchain is something which we cannot ignore. With the digicurrency around, RBI's central banking digital currency, all these things, blockchain, AI, etc., they do require a legal backing. We cannot, independently work on them. Therefore, the role of a legal department would be great in supporting RBI's initiatives in this regard. That sense of comfort, and we are within the framework of the acts also here. There are various acts that come into play.
So RBI is a very dynamic, forward-looking institute is what I'm taking from it. So legal will also be exciting and dynamic and not just always buried into old laws.
Absolutely. Yes.
And paperwork. So
challenging. Yes, they would have
be challenging. And a lot of new learnings, trainings will always be there to seize if one wants to keep growing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
So, gives a good overall perspective, sir, about what this legal function can be like. RBI is recruiting for this position this year also. And I hope the students who are listening, the candidates who are listening to this gives them more clarity. If it comes to your exam level questions or preparation, you'll find loads of videos on our channel for further guidance. And you can always reach out to us for any kind of support that you need overall. And I am so thankful to you, sir, for taking out time and giving so much clarity and in a very, very succinct manner what all legal is all about and how it is so nicely supporting all the different functions of RBI. So thanks for
enriching discussion. I said I could add a little caveat that whatever I've said here is based on my understanding of the legal department, the way we have interacted with the legal department. But it's a dynamic department, so it keeps changing. As you rightly said here, the annual report has come out with something new this time. So the perceptions are also based on how we have seen the legal department. That is what I want to add.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And thanks again from the entire team of iXamBee.
Thank you. Thank you for